The human brain and a planning area in SMC function in a similar way. Both use the information stored in them, along with logic, to solve problems. Just as your brain acts as a central nervous system of your body, and is connected to the various sense organs and other organs as well. Similarly, a planning area is the central data structure of demand planning and supply network planning. So one wonders, how is the planning area organized in comparison to the brain? How does it function? How does the planning area save data? And what are its various parameters? Let's first try to understand the organization and various functions of the planning area. A planning area acts as the central data structure of SNP and DP. Each planning area is linked to an MPOS and a storage bucket profile. Each planning area is linked to only one MPOS. However, each MPOS can have multiple planning areas associated to it. An MPOS, or Master Planning Object Structure, contains plannable characteristics for one or more planning areas. The CVCs in the MPOS contain lots of data. This data helps to form and execute various demand planning activities. How is that data stored in a planning area? Planning area saves data in an organized manner in live cache. It does this by saving the data in either a time series or an ordered series. All transaction data is also stored in the planning area. Transaction data is associated with a key figure. Consequently, the properties and definition of these key figures need to be declared in the planning area. As mentioned earlier, the planning area is linked to the storage bucket profile as well, which defines the periodicities of data storage in terms of days, weeks, months, years, and so on. For data input in the planning area, there are a number of parameters. They are unit of measure in which data are planned, for example, in terms of weight or length. Currency, such as US dollar, euro, in which data is planned. Currency conversion type, such as converting yen to US dollar for viewing planning data in other currencies. Aggregate levels on which data can be stored in addition to the lowest level of detail in order to enhance performance. Key figures that are used in this planning area, such as planned demand and actual sales history. And finally, the setting for disaggregating, aggregating, and saving key figures. You need to define a storage bucket profile before creating a planning area. Other than specifying the storage bucket profile in the planning area, you also need to specify unit of measure. You should initialize planning areas regularly while planning with time series data. Typically, time series data defines the business meaning of a particular time series, such as consumption data. Initialization creates time series objects in the live cache. These time series objects are created for the planning horizon, which is termed as initialization. Initialization is an important process in SAP SCM data storage and planning. You should initialize forecast key figures with a future start date and history key figures with a start date from the past. For each period, you can reinitialize a planning area to drop off obsolete periods and add future periods. You can initialize individual key figures while creating a new CVC. You can also store information related to key figures in the planning area. You can save them in the form of time series, order series, or read from InfoCube. It is also important that you maintain the key figures definition in the key figure semantics. One of the most important requirements of demand planning is consistent planning. However, there can be certain unforeseen situations, such as a sudden spike in demand or overproduction, that you need to implement in your planning. How do you implement them in your plans? To implement changes in your plans for unforeseen situations, such as overproduction or spike in demand, you need aggregation or disaggregation of data. But what do you mean by aggregation and disaggregation? How are aggregation and disaggregation of planning numbers handled in the planning area? Let's understand this with the help of an example. For example, a company launches a new soft drink range. The initial demand is pegged at 1,000 units across all months of a year. You now want to increase the demand to 2,000 units for the summer months of April, May, June, and July. After you make the change, the demand is aggregated in the higher level plan. Thus, aggregation is the sum of values from the detailed planning levels in the upper levels. Let's consider an example for disaggregation as well. Let the total forecasted demand for the above-mentioned soft drink be 6,000 units across all locations and products. Due to increase in global demand, you want to increase your national sales to 10,000 units. If you change the forecast to 10,000 units at the top level, SAP SCM automatically disaggregates the forecasts for all locations. Thus, disaggregation is dividing the higher level numbers across detailed plans. Disaggregation of data is to distribute numbers from the higher level across the plan, and it needs a lot of consideration. You can disaggregate data using multiple methods, such that the sum of values at the top level matches the detailed plans. The disaggregation methods for key figures are specified in the planning area. The default method of disaggregation is on a pro rata basis, called S. There are some other methods of disaggregation in SAP SCM, such as P-type, A-type, N-type, and so on. Other than pro rata basis, disaggregation can be based on other key figures, average of key figures, average of all details that do not equal 0, average on lowest level of detail, average of lowest detail level not equal to 0, no disaggregation at all. These disaggregation methods are applied as per the complexity of the plan. The standard key figure for disaggregation is APODPDANT. This is considered as the default key figure if you do not specify your own key while disaggregating with type P. Before you wrap up, see if you can try to answer this question based on what you've learned so far. If you thought option D was the correct answer, you're right. While planning using time series data, you need to initialize planning areas regularly. This is because initialization is the process of creating time series objects in the live cache. That's a wrap on this video. Here's a recap of the key points covered in this video.